welcome to the FanGirls Webshow. I'm Taffeta Darling. I've got with me Geline, Spinks, and Natalie Green. Thank you, ladies. It's been a while. We've had a nice hiatus. We had some holidays, and then we had some conventions, and we've had some really good shows come out and do their thing since then. So I guess we'll be talking about the Flash first. So we'll go back to the All-Star.
Yeah, the All-Star team up with Ray Palmer, Adam. It was fun. It was, I don't know really what I was expecting on an all-star team up because it was just like almost like a duo.
I felt like
duo.
We were supposed to get all-stars.
Yeah.
But all-stars rather than all-star. Like, I love Adam. I love Ray Palmer. He's adorable. He's got my heart. He's cute. Brandon Ray is adorable. And I can't say enough about his acting ability on that show. Like, he really brings that much more to it. I felt like he kind of got the short end of the stick after Superman movie, which I thought he was great in it, but it was just a shitty movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who it was, but they made a great point. They were like, he was a great actor. I think it was Jeremy. He was a great actor, but given a shitty script.
Yeah.
And that can screw somebody over, but I love him. He was such a good, he reminds me of Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
When I look at him, I'm just like a young Christopher Reeves. Like, I knew he was going to be on the show, but when they did like the little screen up, I'm like, oh, pitter patter, my little heart. So
yeah, I can definitely, get into his looks, but I can definitely get into his acting ability too, because he does just bring that extra something to the Adam as far as him being Ray Palmer, because he's got this good demeanor about him to where, like, he's like, he was actually kind of going after the Arrow at first before he realized, it's who it is. And
he really nails like the charming, awkward, smart guy where he's still super lovable.
Yeah,
like he gets that really well, and he does get the smart part really well, as where he can just
I see fellas here.
Yeah, where he can like be told and actually think through things, where sometimes like the characters go through where they're told something and then their actions don't really make sense. And his did make sense, where he was like, well, I'm gonna go after the Arrow and figure this out for myself.
Yeah.
And he was smart about it and then did make his own decisions, rather than sometimes the scripts you're like, why did they make the decision and completely turn like a 180? And they didn't do that with him. Like, his made sense, and I like that, like on the Arrow and on the Flash, what they've done with him.
And also with and we got a little bit more insight to Felicity on that one. It seemed like they were actually happy, and they were content with themselves being a couple. And here's something that I've noticed: whenever Arrowcast joins the Flash, they are upbeat, they are happy, they are quirky. And it's a totally different.
Happy to be there.
It's a totally different vibe. Exactly. They're happy to get out of, was it Coastal City? Is that where?
Star City.
Star City. Yeah. Hello. They're happy to get out of Star City to come, see the Flash.
Well, like Felicity said, she was like, well, I thought this was supposed to be the fun city. Like when things started going down, I was like, it is, yay.
Yeah. So I totally appreciate whenever they cross over and they do that, but I felt like it was just, it should have been just, the Flash and the Arrow. It should have been presented as, or not Arrow, the Flash and the Atom. It should have been presented in one of those, comic team ups, like the world's finest, them two, instead of
the duo.
dubbing of an all-star. I get we got a little bit of the detective, and we got Black Canary, which was nice. And I did love the fact that Cisco went crazy fanboy on the Black Canary, because she's talking to him and she's like, oh, I know, and he's trying to keep a cool face, and she's like, I'm the Black Canary, and he just like melts.
Like, I love you.
He's like, I love you. And at the end, where he got a
His
photo of her,
payoff.
he has an 8x10 of him with a Black Canary, and she signed it to him, and she says, if you tell anybody, I'll kill you. And he's like, that's a figure of
speech, right?
Yeah, or expression.
Yeah.
A manner of expression, and
She's like, no.
So it was super fun, and it was very playful, but I really wish it had been way more than just.
But it was still fun.
Yeah.
With the two, because it's like I'll take Ray Palmer.
The contrast is just incredible between the Arrow and the Flash, and so
it made up for it. It really did.
It does. And seeing the two detectives work together, for me, it was fun, because it was like I would even like watch or like read, just them two, because they contrast each other as well. They are like the opposites in the way they do their detective work, and for me, I was just like, this is great. It's sweet. And then also we had the Who is Wells episode.
Yeah, the Who is Harrison Wells. That one was a little bit deeper, I felt like, than like the fun all-star team up, because then you had like Killer Frost. Caitlin. where she just seemed like she was like, no. And at first I was like, are they going to start? Is this going to be where she starts?
And that's kind of where I thought where it was going to be.
You
know?
And that's what I was wondering. Where it's like, because that can break somebody.
You just gave me goosebumps. You can see the goosebumps on my arm because I'm looking forward to that moment to where she does, turn cynical and.
Yeah. Well, like I really like that moment where, because I was doing the same thing. I'm kind of like, oh, are they gonna do it? Where she's like, I lost my fiance while you were gone. I thought I lost you. But Harrison was the only one that was here for me. And you kind of got that side where you're like, oh, whoa, kind of things got a little deeper with Caitlin than we're used to.
Yeah, and she had that relatable aspect with him of he lost his wife and she lost her fiance.
Yeah.
So it that defense that she wanted to do, and it made me wonder if that's gonna kind of add into that element of what's kind of gonna start making her a little bit bitter maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we also did the what's his name, the shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And that kind of that explains the Eddie part
because we're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And they made it this whole shapeshifter thing, and so it's like, Flash, you guys are getting it right. You guys are doing such a good job with the writing and the suspense and the anticipation and the that wasn't it, because I think on the first one that we did about this, one of the questions I proposed was like, well, how does Eddie, change? Why does he start shooting people?
Yeah. Oh man,
it turns out it's
I knew it. And then I was like, oh shit, no, I was totally wrong.
Yeah. So I was like, it's a shapeshifter. Like,
totally explains it.
Set him up. And then like Iris and him, where like he's having to carry this huge. He knows who the Flash is. Eddie knows who the Flash is.
Spilling some of the beans while he was at it,
and he got let in on that. For me, that was kind of fun too. And James was like, "Why is everybody fucking knowing who the Flash is at this point?" It's like, well. There's always that team that you need as a superhero.
Well, and with it being one of those, like, it's a superhero show. Like, I mean, come on, like the whole, it's like the stigma of like Clark Kent. He puts on glasses. Everyone's like, who's this? This is Superman. Like, it's gonna be one of those things where if they want to keep it from a particular person, everybody and their mother is gonna know who it is except that person we want to keep it from. It's just, it's a comic book movie.
It's tough, and the
just
strain that was putting on the relationship, and Iris went full bitch on that. It's like, you should understand, he's a cop. Maybe it's like a case he can't talk about.
I couldn't deal with those episodes, like the one we were talking about previously, where she's just on his ass the whole night. I'm like, girl, just leave. Just leave.
Go.
We don't need you here right now. Nobody likes you anyways.
And
Please just get out.
Barry gave her like a good reason, like saying, he goes through a lot with it, and she goes to him and she's like, I understand that, but I still can't be with you, kind of thing.
I know.
You still should tell me.
I was like, what? What a jerk.
I was like, way to be understanding.
Exactly. You just said you understand, but it's not good enough for you. And I guess that's supposed to be more of her, characterization about, well, she's this go-to reporter. She's going to dig in deep and she's going to find out stuff. But even in her own relationship.
Nosy.
But you should know that there's going to be confidential stuff anyways, like regardless. Like if you have somebody that's in that kind of line of work, there's going to be some stuff that's just confidential, like that cannot be shared.
Exactly.
And also with her being a reporter, you have to be careful too, like what she
Exactly.
puts out there.
But he did tell her. He said he'd been working with the Flash because he went through this whole thing.
And
so it did, come back around to where it closed, and it gave a little bit of closure because he actually got framed by the shapeshifter, and she thought he was going to be in jail, and she's like, why is he killing people? I didn't really think he was killing people, and turns out, they were able to actually get him on camera, which, spoilers. I mean, it's been out for a week, so you guys should see it.
Too bad.
But, he was vindicated because the chief of police or whoever saw, and that's another person who's seen into the world of the metahumans, because the city is still, in this bubble, in this secure thing. They don't, they don't realize there's all these metahumans running around, and there's in Star Labs, there's an underground prison full of all these metahumans. So the commissioner or whoever she was, I don't remember, was like, oh, okay, so we'll let him out, and so he gets out and he's free, and him and Iris embrace and blah blah blah. But at the end, he does say, "I've been working with the Flash," and she just goes, "But," And so now it's like, okay.
And I love how Barry's just kind of like, God damn it, Eddie, like. You had one job, man. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Well, at least he sort of still kept a secret while not lying.
Yeah.
So it was like, crafty.
Yeah, but it's that gateway confession to where now we're dancing on the line.
We are.
And that's what I think Barry is so pissed off about. I think he's like, well, now it's just, you know,
it's inevitable.
Exactly.
You know, and it's inevitable that she will, almost kind of like the Lois Lane with the Clark Kent and Superman. She finds out Clark is Superman, becomes even more in love.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't care about Clark Kent, but, you know, she loves Superman. And then when she finds out, oh, they're the same. You mean I can have both?
Yeah.
And then she becomes, you know, as one. And so for the Flash, I mean, because we all know Barry and Iris do get together in the comics. So it's like, is that also, this is another thing, I'm still trying to figure out what turns Eddie, because he's still good right now, you know, and I don't know, so he may not even go bad, I don't know, but
they put that last name there. We know there is family history
don't
there.
tease me with that last name.
And that's why I think like they're just that ingenious that they're keeping it that just to keep you off the trail of what, you know, they're inevitably wanting to do, and they're so good at it.
And playing with the trailers like they did. But we for weeks were like, oh,
why is he shooting? Why is he shooting?
I knew he was evil. I knew he was Reverse Flash.
Like
just
all
kidding.
They're so good at playing you when you see the trailers and you're like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. And you're like, I was completely fooled.
They totally got me. So that's why
they're doing it right.
They're setting us up, and I'm still a big fan. Again, this is the main show that we watch. It's a superhero show.
This is the only one I watch. Like,
you
they know, they can contest. I don't watch any of these other superhero shows.
Of them.
It took us a few shows in to get Natalie on board. It was like, no, it's different.
I'm on the Flash train. Choo everybody.
So none of y'all are watching Arrow, right?
I am actually watching Arrow.
Okay.
The thing is, it took me a few seasons to get into Arrow, and the only thing I really like about Arrow is that there's the whole Ra's al Ghul. Like, I'm a huge fan of Ra's al Ghul and Talia and the kids and everything like that, and the secret society and the souls and all this shit. So, you know, that's really interesting, but it's also frustrating because it's like they were like, well, we can't do a Batman show, but we'll just take a Batman story and throw Oliver into it. So it's interesting on that part because the Arrow is ending in just a few episodes. And for me, that's exciting because I think that's going to be like, okay, the Arrow has given you the Flash, Ra's al Ghul, this, and this. Boom, here's your freaking Justice League.
Yeah.
Enjoy it, you know. So I am watching the Arrow, but I don't watch it live on Tuesdays. It's usually because James really isn't into a whole bunch of the shows that I'm into. He does the fishing shows and the gator shows and stuff like that. But well, not even that. It's more like the monster fish. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We don't do the swamp people in my house, especially because it comes on History Channel. And that's not my history.
That's history.
So I do watch the Arrow, and I've been enjoying it, and I've been following that story, and especially with the crossovers. So I do watch that. Gotham, I'm kind of iffy with.
Is that still even on?
It is on.
Is that still show?
It's still on. And I will say the last few episodes I've seen of Gotham, like Mooney has been hardcore because she's been in Underground. I don't really know why, and I don't really care because I just kind of skim through it and I watch the Selena Kyle parts. I'm like, oh, look at her, look at Catwoman grow, and then I fast forward. But one thing I thought was interesting is that like Underground and like Fish Mooney's in this all white suit, white turban. She's got white claws that aren't even broken, and I'm like, so apparently they have a tailor and a manicurist held captive in their Underground dungeon as well. And nobody else is clean but her. She's completely white, so she doesn't sit on the ground. She doesn't. She doesn't touch anything. Her suit's completely white. So
my understanding on that is that she kind of like manipulated her way up in the ranks of like the doll maker guy.
Oh, she's getting there. I mean, they're torturing her, and she's taken all this torture. So I've got respect for that, but I still can't get into the show aside from. Carol Kane playing the Penguin's mom is genius. Like, I love the old school Carol Kane, and with Marconi's like romancing her to try to like get the Penguin. So there's different parts of the episodes that I can get into. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm just like, oh God, you're just like everything else without. Yeah. And then and I guess that's the other one. And then of course we're still trying to save Constantine, guys.
Save Constantine.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Netflix picks it up. And then we won't get into Daredevil today because I feel bad without doing it with that Andrew.
Yeah.
We'll
save it.
So we'll do a Daredevil one.
It needs its own show. It really does.
We will. We'll do a Daredevil show.
Full hour.
And I think as far as the Flash goes and the Arrow, Flash is still outwinning them all. And the trailer for Tuesday, do you remember what's happening? I've not remembered.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I watched it. I just can't remember.
I can't.
Because I know the last episode they saw the suit.
All of them saw the suit. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. They all saw the suit.
And they saw the article,
newspaper article.
About
and that's how it ends.
2024, 2025, something like that. Yeah.
2024.
And it has the Infinite Crisis on there. So Caitlin gets it. She knows that he is. They all realize it is. And so I think the next trailer it shows Barry confronting him, and they said something about, well, you're gonna die, Barry.
Yeah, you have to die.
And it's saying that to Barry. Yeah.
Oh man, Cisco might die again.
Yeah.
Like there's that, like they keep playing us
as
well.
Don't with
do it.
Goosebumps.
I swear to God, if they kill him, I'm done.
I don't think so. I think
they're gonna do something to
get
give us vibe. They're gonna do something to where it changes, because Cisco, if you guys don't know, Cisco eventually takes superhero vibe, and so I think maybe they will do something to where he goes underground and maybe he hooks up with the Arrow or Flash. They hide him and he comes back as vibe. Really quickly on the crossover, Cisco gave Black Canary her canary collar.
The canary, yeah. And I love how he was like, "You should call it the canary cry." And I was such a nerd. I said it with him. I was like,
and I did the thing. I was like, he said the thing! He said the thing, babe! Like screaming at James. And James, of course, doesn't really, get a whole bunch outside of whatever I tell him. So he's like, it's the thing. I was like, it's her canary. When they were like talking about it. And so it's good things going on.
Exciting.
Did y'all see the Fight Club crossover promo thing that came out?
No. Oh, yes.
Oh, I'll send it to you.
It's like
it's
a
amazing.
little trailer kind of thing, and they do Fight
And it's
Club.
just Arrow Flash crossover, and they're like in this big cage match, and it has the Flash and Arrow enemies, and they're all going at each other.
It has a rogues gallery as well. It has Russell Gould.
Has Reverse Flash.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's
and
awesome.
They like speed around
I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you.
And we'll also
like
put that on our Facebook page if you guys haven't seen it like me, so you guys can see it.
It's fun. It's adorable.
That was like my favorite thing about Arrow lately. I was like, oh yeah, keep doing this. This is great.
So much goodness coming from the CW finally after 15 years of them trying everything.
It's been a long time coming, but they're doing it right.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think about the Flash episodes in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Geline. Thanks, Natalie, and thanks for everyone for watching. Bye.